Okay, we're looking at section 2.8, and that is going to be the distance formula, the midpoint formula, and circles. So the distance formula is the distance between 2 points, okay, on a coordinate system, and you can use the distance formula for it. So it is derived by using the Pythagorean theorem, okay, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, okay, so c would be the square root of a squared plus b squared. So it's the same thing here, except your points a and b are going to be denoted as these, x and y1, x and y2. Okay, so here is your distance formula. Okay, d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So when you're finding the distance between 2 points, label your x and y1 and your x and y2 and plug them into the formula. So we're going to get square root of x2, so 3, minus x1, negative 1. So that'll turn into 3 plus 1 squared, plus y2, let's see, negative 2 minus 4 squared. Okay, y2 minus y1. And then we will work that out. So let's see here. We have square root 4 squared. Negative 2 minus 4 is going to give us a negative 6. And then let's see here. 4 squared should be 16. Negative 6 squared is 36. And 16 plus 36 is 52, I believe. Yeah, 52. Okay, and then when you get to here, let's say you go here and you do the square root of 52, so you're going to have two answers. Oh, I forgot to put the 52 in. Square root of 52. Okay, you're going to have this exact answer here, which is 7.211. And I use those curly equal signs. That means I'm approximating, which means I rounded here. And then also you're going to want to simplify this. Okay, so here I can pull I believe I can pull a 4 out of that. Yeah, 4 and 13. So I'd have square root of 4, square root of 13, square root of 4 is 2. So I'd have a 2 radical 13. Okay, that is my simplified answer. And then 7.211 is my approximate answer, rounded to 3 decimal places. So it's going to depend on the directions on how you're going to want to answer these. So let's do another example before we go on to the midpoint formula. You have x and y1, x and y2. So let's see. So we'll go x2, 3 minus x1, negative 2 squared plus y2, negative 4 minus y1, 6 squared. Okay, so this double negative here is going to turn into a plus. That is going to give us 5 squared plus negative 10 squared. 5 squared is 25. Negative 10 squared is positive 100. That is going to give us the square root of 125. Okay, let's get the approximate answer. Okay, 11.180. And then let's get the simplified answer. So I can pull a 25 out of this, 25 times 5, and then take the square root of 25, which is 5. So our simplified answer is 5 radical 5. All right, next topic is the midpoint formula. So the midpoint formula is exactly how it sounds. It is the middle of 2 points. Okay, and basically you're just finding the average of the 2 points. You're going to add the x's and divide by 2, then add the y's and divide by 2. Okay, so if we look at example 1 here, you've got x and y1, and then x and y2. So if I do x1, which is 10, plus x2, which is 2, and divide by 2, that's going to give me 12 over 2, which will give us 6. That's going to be our x value. So this is going to give you an ordered pair when you do it. And then our y value will have y1 is 4, y2 is 6, so 4 plus 6 over 2. That's going to give you 10 over 2, 5. So then you're going to have an x and a y, and that is going to be an ordered pair. So 6, 5. All right, and then the next example, we have some radicals. Okay, so x and y1. So let's see here. You're going to have x, you're going to have 8 plus negative 6 over 2. That's going to give you 2 over 2. So 1 for your x value. Your y value, you have 3 radical 5 plus 7 radical 5 over 2. So 3 plus 7 there is going to give you 10 radical 5 over 2. 10 over 2 will give you a 5 radical 5. So that's going to be your y value. It's just going to give you a radical number. So you would put that as 1, 5 radical 5. Now here you don't want the approximate answer because it wasn't given to you in those terms. Okay, so if it's given to you as a radical, you would leave it that way. So let's look at example 3. You're finding the distance and the midpoint for these 2 points. So you have x and y 1, x and y 2. So let's go distance. Okay, we're going to go x2 minus x1, so 16 minus negative 4 squared plus y2 minus y1, negative 2 minus 7 squared. So let's see here. That's going to give us, this will be plus, so 20 squared plus negative 9 squared. And 20 squared, I believe, is 400. Yeah. And negative 9 squared is positive 81. So this is going to give us 481, which might be a perfect square. Let's take a look. Nope. All right, so we get 21.932 for the approximate answer. And let's see if we can find a perfect square that goes into 481. So let's say 481 divided by, I'm just going to see if that's a perfect square. No. No. All right, so let's see here. 225, 196, 169. That's 13 squared. 12 squared is 144. 11 squared. We know 100 is not going to go in. Let's see, 81, 64, 49. Nope. 36. 25 is not going to work. 16, 9, 4. All right, nothing that's going into 481 that is a perfect square. So it's simplified just like that. But you do want to make sure you check those. Okay, and then let's find the midpoint. So for the midpoint, we're going to go, let's see, negative 4 plus 16. Those are your x values. Over 2, that's your x's. So that's going to be 12 over 2. You get 6 there. For your y value, you're going to go y1, 7 plus negative 2 over 2. And that's going to give you 5 over 2. You can leave it just like that. So 6, 5 over 2. And that's your midpoint. All right. Next topic we're looking at is circles. So the standard form of the equation of a circle with a center HK, so that's going to be the X and Y coordinates of the center, H and K, and a radius. Okay, the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to its endpoint. Okay, here is the formula. X minus H squared plus Y minus K squared equals R squared. Okay, so if this circle has a midpoint of 4, 3 and a radius of 1, what is the equation of the circle? So we would just plug this in, this 4, 3, as H and K. So here we would go X minus my H, which is 4 squared, plus Y minus K, so Y minus 3 squared equals 1 squared, which is just 1. So we would just leave it just like that, and that's going to be standard form of the circle. So if I look at example 2, I have a center of 0, -6. So this is my H, K, and my radius is 10. So I'm going to go X minus H, 0 squared, plus Y minus K, Y minus -6 squared equals 10 squared. Okay, so then a couple things here. You don't need to do X minus 0 squared. That's just going to be X squared. Okay, the 0 you don't need to write. This is going to turn into Y plus 6 because of the double negative. And then 10 squared is going to be 100. So the equation of this circle will look like this: X squared plus Y plus 6 squared plus 100. So now you could graph a circle with this type of equation. You would identify H and K. Okay, so this is, remember, X minus H squared, Y minus K squared, R squared. Okay, so here you have a positive 3. So the only way that that would have become a positive 3 is if you would have had this, right? That double negative there would have turned that into an X plus 3. So your H is going to be -3. Okay, Y minus K, so there you can just pull that 1 out. So the center of your circle is -3, 1. Plot that, so -1, 2, 3, 1. That's about right here. Okay, and then the radius squared is 4, so R squared equals 4, which means your radius is the square root of 4, 2. Okay, so the way that you would graph this is 1, 2, okay, on all sides. 2 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 up, 2 down, and then just draw a circle as best as you can, which that's really, really bad. Let me try again. A little bit better, but still not that great. Let's try again. So here I have X minus 6 squared plus Y squared equals 25. So H, okay, H is going to be right here, 6. K, well, I don't have a Y minus K. So remember the instance up here where when I had -0, I didn't have anything with the X. So that would mean the K is 0. So 6, 0 is my center. And then R squared is going to be 25, which means my radius is going to be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0 right there. And then we're going to go 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then do your best to draw a circle. All right, that looks pretty decent. I'm pretty impressed with myself. And that's all you got to do. All right, last topic here is general form of a circle. So this is general form, x squared plus y squared plus dx plus ey plus f. I know it looks like a lot, but it's not too bad because you guys actually already know how to do this. We learned completing the square last chapter. So first thing you do is write it in standard form in terms of completing the square. Okay, so here's our example. Here's what we're going to do. when we say in terms of completing the square, you're going to group the x terms together like this. So I have x squared, and I have a positive 4x. And then remember, when you complete the square, you're going to get something here. So I'm going to go plus blank. And then group your y's. So you've got a y squared, and you have a minus 6y. And then we'll go plus blank. And then just move the constant to the other side. So this, I'm going to add 23 to both sides. So this is going to equal 23. So that's step 1. Step 2, you're going to complete the square on the x and the y. So remember that completing the square is b over 2 squared. B is the value with the x, so it's going to be these two values here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So you have 4 over 2 squared. That's going to give you 4 over 2 would give you 2 squared, which is 4. Okay, so you're going to add that right here. And since you did it to one side, you have to do it to the other side as well. And we'll do the same thing with the negative 6. So negative 6 over 2 is going to give us a negative 3 squared, which is going to give us a positive 9. So we're going to add 9 here and here. Okay, then step 3 is you're going to factor both the x expression and the y expression. And they should be a perfect square trinomial, meaning they should be the same thing twice. So when I look at this, x squared plus 4x plus 4, I say what multiplies to 4 and adds to 4? 2 and 2. Okay, so I would go here, x plus 2 and x plus 2, which would give us x plus 2 squared. Okay, and then the same thing here, what multiplies to 9 and adds to negative 6, that would be negative 3 and negative 3, which would give us a y minus 3 squared. Okay, then over here I go 23 plus 4, which is 27, plus 9 gives me 36. Well, now my equation is in standard form, so I can graph it. I can identify the center and the radius, and then I can graph. So we have a center of, this would be a negative 2, 3, okay, because remember x minus negative 2 would make it plus y minus k, and then the radius would be the square root of 36, 6. So let's see, like that, and then, oh, 6, that's going to be big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then your circle. It's going to look something like that, but maybe not as egg-shaped. All right, so let's do one more example and make sure we solidify this. So here we're going to group the x and the y terms. So I'm going to go x squared plus 10x plus blank. And then I'm going to go y squared minus 6y plus blank. And then that minus 30, I'm going to add it to both sides. We're going to equals 30. All right, my b over 2 squared step, that's going to be these two values here, okay, with the singular term. Okay, so I'm going to go 10 over 2 squared. So that's going to be 5 squared, 25. And then negative 6 over 2 squared is going to be negative 3 squared, so 9. All right, then factor. So x squared plus 10x plus 25. That's going to be 5 times 5 and 5 plus 5. So x plus 5 squared. And then y squared minus 6y plus 9, that's going to be negative 3 and negative 3. And then 30 plus 25 is 55, plus 9 is going to be 64. So there you're going to have a center, and we'll just, since I messed up this graph here, we'll just go ahead and just identify the center and radius. The center here is going to be -5, +3, -5, 3 for your h and your k, and the radius, square root of 64, 8. All right, and that should cover everything in section 2.8. So that is the end of the chapter. What you want to do in the next couple of pages is do your practice problems and your test review to prepare for your next